Marvel Studios executive producer, who has been mostly connected to Loki in recent memory, was asked about Martin Scorsese's complaints and criticisms of the MCU, so Kevin strikes back. So Kevin Wright was asked about everything Martin Scorsese has said in regards to not just Marvel, but comic book movies in general not being cinema and all that. And he says he would like to challenge anybody to watch Loki season 1 and 2 and see how they built the series from the ground up and what they're doing, and then tell them it's not cinematic, because he believes in his heart it is. And again, if you just look up the definition of cinema or cinematic, yeah, it falls into that. I mean, most things do. Even Battlefield Earth, that piece of garbage, it's still cinema. Sorry, but it is. But adding more on this, he says that just to look at everything they put into this, from the characters to the story to how they're telling it, to the craft they're taking with building stages, to the costumes, to being authentic with the designs that are appropriate for its time. He says everything is here and that there's a lot that they're doing here. And if you look at some of the other projects out there, yeah, there's a lot of things that people call out as criticism in regards to the MCU and the bigger comic book world and properties that are out there, but still, let's not take away from those. And yeah, I agree with him. I mean, I think it's one of these things where a lot of people have just kind of decided to take cinema and literally apply it to only one film. And it's due to more or less decades of snobby film critics going, this is cinema, this isn't. And cinema has somehow now turned into this thing where if you think cinema, it has to be a film with two people just sitting there talking for 30 minutes. Not realizing that cinema is a broad term, and within it, there's all sorts of different cinematic storytelling angles. And he kind of goes over that and talks about that a little bit, saying that, hey, what happens when you have AI making films? You know, what's that gonna be? Which kind of is another angle that I think is good that they're taking it on. And he even brought up directors like Chris Nolan. Look at what Nolan's done. Are you going to call his films not cinematic, even his comic book ones? Like, he's got a very good point here, which I agree with a lot of it. You know, it's kind of become like the comic book movie. It's just like, oh, it's just another comic book movie. Yes, at face value it is, but genre, style, and everything within it can be completely different from one to one.